Hey everybody, welcome to Two Over Comics. I'm Steve, that's Patrick, and that's Mike.
Yeah, well, I'm on this side on the screen, and Patrick's down on the bottom, so.
You know, my hand motion, I was just
I'm on top.
Yeah.
To me, Patrick's right there, and Mike's down there. You're watching this, who knows?
Mike's always down there, right, Steve?
You know it.
You know it. But
Especially
anyway,
when
guys,
Patrick leaves.
before we start, guys, I just want to remind you, if you're new to our channel, remember to like and subscribe. Give us a big thumbs up if you like the video. Give us an even bigger thumbs down if you hate the video. And remember to hit that notification button so we can do all the work for you. You can find the videos rather than you have to find the videos for yourself. We'll do all the work for you. And you can enjoy.
Yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe because, you know, I'm sick of crying every time I see my subscriber base. So please, let's get it. Come on. You don't want to see me cry.
And get notifications.
We just have.
Anyway, guys, it's Thursday. All the comics are out now. All the DCs, the DC Comic New Day, Marvel Comic New Day, IDW, Image, all of them. Archie Comics, they all came out. So we're going to talk about a handful of them, guys, like we do every Thursday, starting last week. So first, we're going to go into Mike. Let's see what he's talking about right now.
So this week I went with Maestro #1 by Peter David and Jermaine. I can't even pronounce that last name, but he's a really great artist.
Jermaine?
So this is actually an origin story of Maestro. As we all know, was a 2-issue miniseries, I think it was.
Future and Perfect.
Back in the early 90s and whatnot by Peter David.
Yeah, the graphic novel. Peter David and George Perez.
Peter David is carrying his love for one of his characters again. I've actually gotten more interested in Maestro since Peter David's run on his newest run on Spider-Man 2099. He played a big role in that. And Maestro's also been in Old Man Logan, that book that was out a few last year.
Yep.
There's definitely love for Maestro at Marvel Comics. Whether or not he's going to make his return in the 616 someday, that's up for our ears. But this story basically starts off with Hulk. Everything's going great for the Hulk. Everything's, he's married, he has 2 kids, the Avengers respect him, they say good job for taking down that Sentinel, you didn't even need us, blah, blah, blah.
The Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
We then find out that it's actually he's been held in stasis by MODOK and AIM, and that this is actually now taking place in the near distant future or whatever it was.
The Matrix tube he's in.
Yeah. He basically gets out, it's short circuits type of thing. He gets out. He realizes that, then we find out more, bearded Hulk. He's kind of like a little beard going on, kind of whatnot, balding a little bit. And we find out that it takes place in the future, obviously, and that I'm totally remembering this, not reading my notes whatsoever. That him and his radioactive foes have been held captive by MODOK, and that they were trying to rebuild the future. Because what happened was, apparently a terrorist group set off a nuclear bomb in Russia and America, and then it killed off 60% of the population. And they made it seem like it was a computer error and whatnot.
It is eerie how much your book sounds similar to a book that I'm going to be reviewing in a second, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It also made it seem like this stuff was going to happen regardless of whether or not we have superheroes. Like, the government suck, people suck, blah, blah, blah. Feels like he's pushing a lot of his ideas of how he feels now into his book. The one thing I hate when people do that. And that we now have a new criminal terrorist group called the Black Scythe, the one with their little, they represent the death. He has that little fucking scythe type thing.
You know.
You mean the sickle?
Sickle, yes, thank you, yes. And that they basically want our world to go back to the dinosaurs when we start over. So they go to the oh, Patrick, just go over it.
I'm sorry. It's just
Hulk versus the Tea Party.
basically, in that they go to the Philadelphia, London, Japan, all the countries that in cities that weren't bombed, basically, or taken out by the radiation. They release like a certain type of gas that kills people. In that, so it's setting it up that it seems like it's going to be, pre-Maestro Hulk takes on this, black sickle new terrorist organization. He gets out of capture of AIM, and then he's in Los Angeles, which seems where they let off one of the nuclear bombs. Well, it's all destroyed.
From what I remember from Future Imperfect, that's how Hulk became the Maestro, from the Atomic Wars he referenced.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is what they're doing. They're going to be doing the Atomic Wars, I guess.
It seems like it. Did Hulk take out the rest of the heroes? Or was that?
No, most of them got wiped out.
Pretty much, he did.
Yeah, most of them got wiped out, and the ones that were left, he basically, he's like, I'm in charge now, and if you don't like it, then you're going to kill you, pretty much. And that's what that big awesome trophy room scene in issue 2, I think. Or issue 1 it was. But is this a miniseries, or is it an ongoing?
It's a miniseries, so it's I don't know how long it is. I don't know if it's gonna be 6 issues or 4 issues, but it's just a miniseries retelling the origin of Maestro. My guess is that this is popular enough that he might return some way, shape, or form in the 616.
Yeah.
Either in Immortal Hulk or Avengers or whatnot. But Peter David clearly loves his characters. But my only fear is that he's going to dance around a certain storyline and not really move the story forward like he did with Spider-Man 2099. Well, like he kept revolving around the idea that he can't go back. And he did this on Scarlet Spider too, like around the whole dance slot, like, oh, I'm Ben Riley. I can be better, but I can't. And they didn't really move the story forward.
Well, if it's a miniseries, I don't think he plans on doing any character progression. I think he just plans on just telling the story that he mentioned in Future Imperfect years ago. But it's Peter David on the Hulk, so I'm on board. I'll definitely check that out. Yeah,
the story was pretty decent. The artwork was great. I'm definitely hooked. I definitely want to, read issue 2 when it comes out next month, and we'll go from there. I might even review that issue again when it comes out next month.
You should read the whole series, Mike. Let's do it.
I'm still going to, but I'm wondering if I should review that for next month.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, what do you got?
Batman 97, the continuation of the Joker War.
What a great year for Batman 97, the year of Batman and Robin.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for Bat Nipples to show up in the next issue.
I wouldn't be surprised the way they're going.
Yeah, I mean, the book is pretty good. I mean, basically, it has a lot of action. Bruce Wayne's still high on the Joker toxin. He's in the same movie theater that that he came out of, that his parents were shot. Yep. He's fighting M.A. Corpse, blindfolded, and the Joker. And the Joker is on the screen right behind him, talking through the whole thing.
Yep.
Also talking to him is Alfred.
Yep.
Who is dead.
Yeah, that was the confusing part. Where I think you said that takes place in the past when he's talking to Alfred, or
no, it's present. In this book, it says it's present. He says he's directly on communicator.
Well, from my understanding,
I'm thinking.
Well, Punchline Fear Toxin is a mixture of Joker Toxin and Scarecrow Toxin, pretty much. So he's still tripping balls on the. Well, he first was tripping balls on the. Was this before or after he sees Harley Quinn in the comic? Because he has two.
It was before.
Okay.
He was tripping before.
Okay, so
he sees her in '96. Oh, no, that might have been Detective. Excuse me. And so he sees her. She gives him the antidote, but the thing is, she says that he's been so high that it's going to take a while for it to take full effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what this Alfred is an AI. That's what Bruce has been listening to.
Well, no, I mean, Lucius was originally in there. And then even when he got cured from the thought, when he's talking to Alfred, when he blindfolds himself, he goes, I'm going to disappear also too, right? Because you're flushing the toxin out. And he's like, yeah, I know. And so I think it's just, he knows it's induced from the fear toxin, but he's just like going with it pretty much.
I'm not sure because remember when they did that fight when Bruce got rid of the corpse with that sonic blast, that Alfred said that if you do that, you lose me because that would burn out the communicators.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Alfred's AI.
Maybe. That'd be kind of cool. Considering it's Batman '97, it would be coincide with the AI Alfred from Batman and Robin that gave Batgirl the bat suit.
Exactly. Exactly.
How do you like this book? Mike, you're not reading Batman, are you?
It's
Not now. I am starting to get convinced to maybe go back and read the previous issues, and maybe I'll you know, because you kind of convinced me that it's kind of going back to the Batman that I like. I still might skip over Joker War because I just don't care about Joker War.
It sounds.
I mean, I have my own thoughts on why Joker keeps escaping and whatnot, and why. And then in reality, they just would have. You know, I understand Batman not killing him, but you know they would have fucking put a needle in him and fucking, you know, done.
Well, I think they tried that. But what do you think, Patrick? You liking this book? Or?
I'm liking it. I'll be honest. It's one of those that because the art's not bad and the pacing's good, I'll stay in the main books. But here's what I want to talk about: Harley Quinn number 75. That's been advertised as a tie-in. No. I just want to think it's an anniversary issue.
Yeah.
So 3/4 of it is her, you know, doing her usual crazy stuff, you know, with the Super Friends and all that. And Punchline shows up at the end. Guess what? You can skip it.
Anyways, but
for me, Harley Quinn as guest starring in the books is enough for me. I don't think she can carry her own title. Better just showing up in the
not without Amanda Conner, Jim and Perry I right now.
Yeah, they had a decent run, but I mean even that too through a miniseries.
Oh, they are the only ones that had a consistent run. Anyone else that jumps on the title just falls apart. Because she's a guest star trying to do her own book.
What is Dan Slott doing it? What is Dan Slott writing it?
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, Dan Slott.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you one thing though. I'm kind of picking up on when I was reading Batman '97. I think they're doing a little Harley Batman shipping. I think because in the Murphy verse and White Knight, you can tell there's kind of like a little bit of like romantic tension going on between them. I think Titty maybe carry that a little bit over into the doing a little Betty and Veronica with Catwoman and Harley Quinn. I think with Batman. I think.
Well, I think the reason they're trying to do that because they want to position Harley as a hero, not as a villain.
Yeah, they kept with the anti-hero, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know what? If you don't like something, a status quo, give it a year, it'll go back to normal anyway. Yeah. So I'll check it out.
Yeah, I already know how they're gonna bring back Alfred. They're probably gonna do it the way how Batman Bruce Wayne died, and he's kind of like a clone now or something. That's how they'll probably bring him back.
That's a Snyder thing. So he'll have to take care of that because I mean that's basically falls into all the Batman stories. How there's always gonna be a Batman because he'll always be able to go back to his peak physical form, Batman. But anyway,
God. Okay, let's move on. Move on.
All right. The book I'm going to review right now is Wonder Woman: Dead Earth #4. It's the last issue in the Black Label series. Have you guys been reading that at all? Or?
No.
Is that the? No, I haven't. I was thinking of something else, like the one with a DC hero.
Oh, the Dead Planet.
Oh yeah. This is one where I think if you guys haven't been reading it, I'll give you a quick little set for it. Basically, it's it takes place in the future. Something happened with the gods, pretty much, with Wonder Woman, where there was like a war between the humans and Themyscira, where after it became outed where Themyscira was, the humans basically just nuked the shit out of freaking Themyscira to get rid of all the gods.
Now I'm going where you're getting with Maestro.
And it kind of it kind of turned into a thing where like the god. Mike, you remember that turtle episode, like the Mad Max type of one, where like all the mutagen bomb went off.
Yeah.
Freaks. They did that. What's her name? Cheetah's all fucked up and all that stuff. So basically, Batman's like they're all getting old, and they put Diana in a pod. They're like, even though this is your fault for like involving gods and the human race, he goes, you're the only one who can be able to save it. So I'm gonna put you in this pod. These kids like these scavengers are out hunting and they end up on Wayne Manor and they find themselves in the Batcave and they end up getting attacked by these like mutant gods. The pod opens up, Wonder Woman comes out. and she's basically she has no memory of what happens like that. She kind of has like little spots in there. So she wakes up, and it's very like Mad Max, like barbarian type Wonder Woman, which I fucking love. Where she's like she sees Bruce's like corpse just sitting there on the couch in Wayne Manor in his full on bat suit. Takes his utility belt. She wears Superman's like tattered cape because Superman is like long died, and the only thing left of Superman is like one of his like cyborg helpers and shit like that. Like the robots are in the Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, Kleenex.
Yeah, and it's really really good. Like it very much looks kind of like maybe a Steven Universe type like art style pretty much, but it's very stylized and really good. So at the end of this issue, basically they're wrapping things up. It explains like Batman's connection, so like why he put her in the pod and stuff like that. And she basically has to like she sides with humanity pretty much and has to destroy her mother, who's like this big obviously this big like monstrous freak now because of the whole nuclear holocaust. And it leaves pretty much open ended where they don't really explain exactly what happened. They've only given the kind of tidbits of what happened with like Batman and all the other heroes, and then it ends up pretty much where it's like, do you want to help me rebuild this dead Earth? And that's where it ends. I think there's gonna be a sequel to it. Really, I can't recommend enough. This is my favorite rendition of Wonder Woman. If like you like that scene,
Really?
I know you guys don't like Batman versus Superman that much, but if you like that scene where Doomsday knocks her back and she gives like that smirk, like where she's like a Wonder Woman who likes to kick ass and fight, this is the Wonder Woman you're gonna like. And
Okay.
I did enjoy Superman and Batman, except for that one scene where there's like when Providence and Gotham are next to each other. But every other aspect of that movie, I did enjoy.
But there's actually one scene in particular where she explains. Well, it encapsulates Wonder Woman perfectly. Where she's in jail with this one kid because the kid's on trial for like letting her out and stuff like that because she's one of the gods and they're supposed to hunt all the gods down. And she goes, "Oh, I do it because I love you." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, I love everybody." And she explains how she like when she first met Steve Trevor, and she was like, "It's not. It's not what you're thinking. It's not like a sensual, sexual love or an attraction." Because I saw her looking with eyes of like wonder and curiosity, and also like willingness to find things new. And at that moment, I fell in love with humanity, and that's why I knew that's what got me to get off the island and protect like humanity and be like who I am. Like, and that was you fucking got Wonder Woman perfectly in 2 panels. Like, that's what. And then she kicks ass, but she only kicks ass when she has to. And it's a really really good book. Check it out, Wonder Woman Dead Earth number 4 of 4. Definitely check it out.
Okay.
Like the best DC books that are out there now are like the multiverse books.
That's always kind of. I mean, well, it's easy because you don't have to deal with the bullshit of continuity. You can kind of like.
And I got that trade, the Dark Multiverse trade.
Yep.
Of basically the what ifs of the Superman, the Batman getting his back broken. I literally read that trade in one sitting. It was so great.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're doing an Elseworlds, you can kind of cherry pick what you want as far as continuity goes, and it's kind of cheating. But you know what? Half the best stories come from Elseworlds stories, I think.
I think they're building something bigger, and the next big DC event, miniseries or maxi series, they're building up a bigger threat that's taking out the multiverse of the DC universe and whatnot.
Hopefully not.
What I got from the Dark Multiverse book. It seems like they're building for something bigger and better.
Hopefully they just keep it as a
hopefully not Generation 5.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they just keep it as a separate imprint where they're just telling cool stories that are out of continuity.
Yeah.
A while. Mike,
That's their best bet.
Oh, actually, you and Patrick are double teaming a book, right? Or no?
I know.
Yeah, Nightwing 73.
Yep. By Dan Perkins and Ryan Benjamin or something like this.
Yeah, Benjamin Ryan.
Yeah.
Very good art.
Yeah, the artwork was pretty decent. So this is the only DC book that really stood out to me because a lot of the books are like I said, like before, like part 4, part 5, and the problem is with this COVID-19 going on, I forgot a lot of the stories that were going on. Like I want to review Captain America, but then I had to go back and read all the issues, and I know where I left off and all that jazz. So I went with Nightwing 73, and apparently the whole series, from what me and Patrick are talking about, that Dick Grayson kind of got like shot in the head or grazed in the head, and he kind of forgot who he was. And
where Tom King.
No, he got bullet in the head.
Yeah, and that he was going as Rick Grayson, and even before that, he was like a secret agent. I don't know if that was before or after he got shot in the head.
That was before.
That was way before. That was DCU. Like book race.
So
Yeah.
ever since you know, the New 52, they haven't really just thought of a good idea of Dick Grayson. And reading this book, I still don't think they have. So I'm kind of half and half on this book, to tell you the truth. But it reminded me of that Batman Beyond episode where Tim Drake gets brainwashed by Joker.
Yeah.
Return of the Joker. So it's very similar to that. So basically, Joker in the previous issue, you know, brainwashed Dick Grayson or Rick Grayson or whatever the hell his name is nowadays. And
He's Dicky Boy now.
Boy, no, yeah. So he basically rewrote his own history in his head where, like, Dick Grayson's parents were pricks, they beat him, they were alcoholics, and that Joker is the hero, so to speak, and that he, you know, took Dick Grayson underneath his own wing, and that Batman was a bad guy. They even like in his head, they redid the classic Batman coverage where it's, you know, Batman is like this and Robin's right next to him, you know, kneeling down, but it was Joker instead. And also in the previous issue, Dick Grayson fought Batgirl and kidnapped her, and then they were like in this, like, you know, fighting dome type thing where they fight. And the whole time they're fighting, Batgirl's trying to convince him, remember who you are, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, Batgirl goes off, you know, escapes. And in the meantime, Punchline goes to the Alfred Pennyworth Hospital to put a bomb in there.
Children's Hospital. And she's basically, she puts a bomb in there, sets it up for make it seem. So Dick Grayson goes out to Batgirl. He calls the other Robins to come down and meet me down by, you know, so and so, and he makes him think that Batgirl is the one, in fact, gone rogue and planted a bomb in the Alfred Pennyworth Hospital, Children's Hospital. Well, at the end, do you remember when Dick Grayson? This is the one thing I didn't understand. He meets up with Tim and Damian.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that he's going by Dick Grayson again, wouldn't that include that something's wrong?
I mean,
that he actually,
I mean, at the same time, Tim Drake's going as Drake. So I don't know, like, because the same thing happens where he goes to him and he says, you know, Tim's there first, and then he meets, and then Red Hood comes in and he calls him Jason Todd. Jason Todd comes down and says, "Hey, Drake." Is he referring to him as his new superhero name or as his last name? Yeah.
Well, the fact that Dick Grayson remembers them, that made no sense.
Because at one point in time, Joker, there you go. See you, Steve.
Hard pass. Hard pass on Nightwing.
Okay.
I didn't completely hate this issue because it kind of reminded me of that Batman Beyond Return of the Joker storyline.
Yeah.
But I find it hard to believe that for this long, with all the training that Dick has gotten from Batman,
Bruce
and Batman and whatnot, that he still wouldn't know his memory yet.
This is
on since Rebirth, I'm assuming, right, Patrick?
No, it's been going on for a year. He got shot in the head. He got shot in the head about a year ago.
This has been going on.
But here's the thing.
City of Bane. KGB shot him in the head in Tom King's run. And then. So
exactly.
A little after the non-wedding.
So, like, I don't know what they're trying to do with Grayson and whatnot, and his story and Nightwing. And it seems like Dan Didio doesn't have much love for the sidekicks.
He hates them with passion. He hates Wally West.
Tim Drake.
That's another story.
But that's trying to do 5G. But anyways, just tell classic Nightwing stories.
Didio's gone. For 2021, I hope for a vaccine for COVID and for them to get the fucking Nightwing book in a row. I can't stand what they're doing tonight.
Yeah.
My favorite DC.
And bring back Tim Drake Robin.
How about Dick Grayson? Not this Rick shit.
Just tell the same stories you were telling him of Dick Grayson and Bullhaven. You know, that's it. And then tell him he's the protector of that, you know, whatever. But that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Didio's gone. Scott Lobdell's gone. Get your shit together, DC. Get Nightwing right.
Mhm.
Anyway, moving on from Nightwing. What do you have the other book, Patrick, or is that it?
Nope, that's it.
All right. I read for my Marvel book. I read. It looks like I was the only one who read Marvel. I think. Well, I know you guys probably read. Oh no, you read about MAESTRO. Yeah, that's right.
I had MAESTRO.
Yeah.
So
I read Wolverine #4 by Benjamin Percy and Victor Bondanovich, I think his name is.
I almost was gonna read that book too, but I'm like, I think Steve's gonna read that one.
Wolverine, yeah, I love Wolverine, and this is definitely a return to form. As far as the Hickman books go, the X-Men goes, a lot of them are really hot and cold, and Wolverine is, of course, on every team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, of course.
the last issue,
He's on the Justice League too.
I love Adam Kubert, and so I did, but I didn't. But the story was kind of like it was a little. I didn't really like the story that much in the first episode storyline for Wolverine. This one we kind of go back to form as far as Wolverine goes, where he's wearing like the basically what happens in this issue. Wolverine is obviously on the island with the rest of the X-Men, the rest of the mutants, but he's like Wolverine's a loner, so clearly he's like I like being around people. I like singing Kumbaya by the fire with all these guys, but sometimes I need a fucking break from all this rainbow bullshit. And he basically
I love that he's back in his classic '80s costume or '70s
costume. Yeah. So he basically plants this portal in the woods. He has this big hike up to the woods to plant the portal, and that portal goes to this like big like shitty dive bar up in like up north and stuff like that. So he goes there for a couple of years, and and so he goes there today, and there's this guy who immediately starts some shit with them, and he's like, what I just want to drink, buddy, whatever. But if you want to like throw down, get throw down. And so the bartender's like, in the Wolverine in the first X-Men movie is like, everybody has a shotgun. He's like, everybody shut the fuck up and just drink whatever. Yeah. So he's listening to all these people's stories, and they're kind of like being a little like, he's getting a bad rub from them all. He goes to the bathroom and sees the guy who was trying to shit with him before, gutted out and dead. So immediately they blame Wolverine. And so when he comes out, they all kind of like gang up on Wolverine, and like they shoot him with some kind of poison in his drink, something like that. They knock him out. And it turns out they've been biding their time this whole time because this bar, Wolverine's killed so many people throughout the years to have him being alive. They all kind of like they found each other and like and it's kind of supported this like Wolverine victims group pretty much kind of like to use a term. And so they kind of put Wolverine. And they bring him outside, and they're like, now he goes, now we're gonna put you on the ice, and he goes, well, freezing doesn't work, and he goes, no, we're literally gonna do the only thing that would kill you, tie you to the chair with chains, and just freaking drop you through the ice, and like that, because the only way you can kill Wolverine is to drown him, pretty much, and so like that's what we're gonna do, and so Wolverine, Wolverine doesn't fight him or anything. He's like, yeah, I mean, I deserve it, I said, go for it, but then the person who ends up saving him towards the end is Omega Red. Who doesn't really save him, but he's Omega Red. If you guys have been following the X-Men, he's been working with Dracula in the Marvel Universe lately. Because Omega Red's always been kind of like a vampiric kind of like character anyway, where he sucks energy from people or fear or whatever. And so basically, that's how the issue ends, where Wolverine's in the water. Oh, we're running out of time already. So he basically we end the issue where he's holding Wolverine with his tentacle thing, and he's like sucking the fear from Wolverine or whatever it is, and that's the end of the book. But it's fun. The art's great on that book. Victor Bondanovich is good. Benjamin Percy, I've listened to his podcast, Long Night, and I forget what the other one was on Stitcher. And he's a great Wolverine writer. He is Wolverine pretty much. If you ever like seen the interviews, he's just a guy from the woods who just fucking drinks fucking Jack Daniels and hunts and fishes pretty much. But
Wolverine still have those hot pink paws. What the hell they have? The hot paws.
That was
he was introduced in Wolverine 1.
I've never seen him use those. I've only been reading it since Hickman took over. So that version of X-Men. So I haven't seen him use those.
I know when Cuba brought him back, he kind of had like.
Yeah, I don't think they'll bring those back. I don't think they'll bring Superman, Supernova, Jeff Johns back either from New 52. Yeah. So that's the book. Real quick, I'm gonna go over one other book that I was reading, which was Ninja Turtles Urban Legends number 26. Mike's Patrick, you're probably not familiar with this book. You probably know of it. It's back when Image had the rights to Ninja Turtles, and they were doing like that hyper violent, like off the walls book. It never finished its run. Yep. It was black and white, and so basically IDW started reprinting them all in color. and they got a chance to actually wrap up the series. And they have a final issue finally. The original one ended with issue 25. This one they wrap everything up pretty much. Mike, I don't know if you've been following it at all.
I fell behind because our comic book store stopped carrying it. For some reason, there's been not enough people wanting it. So I kind of fell off, and with COVID happening, so I kind of fell behind on it. The story has been great. It's been I've enjoyed it thoroughly. The artwork's been kind of weak. I'm not gonna lie. It seemed like he was trying to write like draw like Larson was for a while on some of it. And some of it that was what kind of took me out of it a little bit was the artwork wasn't that great. But the fact that like Donatello gets turned into a robot early on, it seems like from what that page that you posted that he's back to normal.
So from where you left, Donatello was still a cyborg, Raphael was still a shredder, and Leonardo got his hand eaten off by Leatherhead pretty much. So
I didn't get to that part.
All right, well, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert's on a 30-year-old book.
Damn it.
So basically what we're at right now, we have Raphael got challenged by Karai, by the Foot Clan from Japan, to take over. She obviously wins against Raphael. So Raphael's back with the Turtles. And so they're going – the original villain of this was King Komodo pretty much. So they go after him. They find out that Karai has been building – using the tech metal that took over Donatello, which is like a sentient metal, robot metal, whatever. Kind of like the phalanx pretty much, to create all these soldiers. The Turtles obviously stopped that from happening, and then they shut the network kind of like Independence Day, so Karai's armor doesn't work. King Komodo defeats her, and the Turtles basically they get it's kind of hard to explain how they haven't read it, but basically the whole thing wraps up where everything's back to the status quo, we're back together, and King Komodo's like, okay, well, I'm going to stay out of my shit. I'm not going to be doing any criminal stuff anymore, but I'm still going to be involved in something that interests me. And they're like, what about the Foot Clan? Like, they'll either join me or they won't. If they don't, then I'm going to fucking kill them. And the Turtles like, that's all good with me. And so they end the story going back to Northampton. And Leonardo, I guess the Turtles have regenerative powers, I guess. It has something to do with the Komodo thing, because the Komodos can grow their tails back and shit like that. But so basically they all go back to Northampton, and it all ends happily ever after with the Turtles. And probably the wackiest Turtles story that I've read, in my lifetime.
Yeah, me too. Well, I kind of like how in the current series, when Donatello died a few years ago when he got killed by, Rocksteady and Bebop, that they transferred Leo's essence into Metalhead. So they kind of brought that element back a little bit for a while. But I definitely want to get back into this series. Aside from the artwork being kind of weak, I loved it every issue that I read so far.
It's good.
And
I'm glad they finally wrapped Vindication. They finally wrapped it up. I have closure now with this book.
I remember, Steve, years ago, we were trying to look when our comic book guy was having a show at a shop. We saw those issues there, and we're like, they're crazy expensive, the original issues. I'm like, we want those. And then years later, they bring it back, and I'm like, thank God. Because I think one issue was issue 1 was like $500 or something like that. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, they're pretty expensive. Yeah, they're hard to find. I think Peter Laird bought them all up and burned them. So that's the last book I got. You guys got any other books you want to talk about? We have 5 minutes left, so.
No, I think that was it. I think the next week I'll review that Power Rangers book that I was talking about. And then I'll do the Marvel and DC. But yeah, I think I got nothing else.
What about you, Patrick? Anything? You're frozen.
Well, I think we should give this podcast an official name. I think Mike's idea called Comic Soapbox was good.
Oh, yeah. We'll come up with a name later. We'll go back on Facebook Messenger so we don't run out of time here. And
all right.
Name, but yeah.
Rush it. One honorable mention I did want to mention. Have you guys been reading Donny Cates' Thor at all, or no?
Which one?
No.
No. Which book did you say?
Oh, you guys been reading Donny Cates?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just go over really quick. Donny Cates' last issue of Thor came out this week also. The run's been pretty solid, but for me, it kind of wrapped up really well. I'll kind of give you guys the cliffhanger pretty much. Obviously, Thor, he's still alive, so he beats the Black Winter. And if you guys have been on the internet at all, obviously you know he kills Galactus, and it but the end I guess the Black Winter shows Thor's death pretty much, and the last panel it shows Thanos with some kind of black gauntlet, and all the Marvel zombies are behind him, and it's like
Oh God.
I'm on board with the Marvel.
God.
But I mean, like, you know, it's like enough of fucking Thanos now. Like, I'm kind of sick of Thanos being the be all
Oh really?
of like everything now. So yeah, we'll see what that ends up. I you know what? I shouldn't even drop the bomb like that because we don't have any time to talk about it. But
Yeah.
so we're gonna wrap it up real quick. We got 2 minutes left. I'm just gonna say, guys, yeah, join us next week, same time. We're gonna be doing the review show on Thursdays. We're gonna be doing the new show on Tuesdays, review show on Thursdays, and like, you know, anything else in between, it's all the white Oreo cream that you get as a bonus. We'll see what it does. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for our Thursday review show. Titled yes yet to be determined. And remember, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Come on, you fuckers think that just because a guy reads comics he can't start some shit? I'll fucking take all you on!